China. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. Thank you all for coming here, spending a moment of time with our family. I told you I would be back. I'm just running a little late tonight, is all. All right, here we are, March 18th, a date I do not look forward to, but we're here anyway. Anyways, as you can see, it doesn't look like there's much going on the sun. That's because there's a bunch of missing data. Watch how all of this goes from totally bright to blinking out. So we're not going to see much in this report, at least on the solar thing, except a bunch of missing data. All right. And for good reason, because there was a pretty big event that happened, and it probably had some details in it that they don't want people to see, or maybe it just caused such a reaction to the satellites that they weren't able to send back all the data. That's what we're supposed to believe. Anyways, that's the limited data we have. And I could go through and point out the frames and stuff where we're missing, but you see we start off here. We go through most of the day until right about 10 o'clock. 11. So right here at 11:24, 11:36, and then it jumps to 21:12. See a big difference in the sun between 11:36 and 21:12. That's 10-hour difference basically. And look at all this stuff that's gone on in that missing time. I also went over to Stereo A to check it out, and it's missing the same time frame of data. And we're just gonna do it real quick anyways. Get some sweet lines on there. See, not much to see here either. You'll see the skipping time here in the data because there was some event there that happened, and we're not getting all the data from it. So let's move on over to some of the other instruments where we do get data. And we can see we had quite the M flare there. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this. Pull it over. Okay, here's today's square right there. You can see we had quite the M flare right here, and it came out of that region that's facing the Earth. Okay, so not a good thing right now. Here we have the data drop out again like this. It's around this time of night. Excuse me. Anyways, you can tell we're missing this event right here on the SOHO satellite. So it's been quite a bumpy day there. And the M flare potential's up at 40%. I could see it could be higher because we're still having M flares. There's a small one right there going into tomorrow. X flare potential is 5%. I expect to see that climb pretty high or a little higher. Let's just say it should be higher already, but we'll get there. D layer absorption is not showing anything right now, something down or whatever, because usually it's got a blue glow or something. And maybe, yeah, see, there we go. And we're not absorbing too much right now, but if we do go back here, all right. Our geomagnetic forecast now for March 20th and 21st are G1 storms on both days here. Okay, so they're expecting some energy coming in, and now when we come down here, here's the two M flares that we had today. This first one at 2.8, and then the second one was a 6.7. So we've had two M flares today, and we just popped off another small one right here going into tomorrow. It's just in case. Oops. I was going to try to take a peek at tomorrow's data, but I went too far. But maybe we'll get some refreshed frames right here. See this in blue? Maybe we'll get lucky here. All right. Yeah, not much going on there. Apparently a little impulse coming off down here. See it growing right there and clearing the occulter right before they black it out. So that's your new event probably coming out of that region right there. That's going to be this new little M flare popping off right there. Okay, so we had 3 M flares within a 24-hour period right there. Now, down here at our sunspots, 3615 is beta gamma right now, and we got some other ones here. They're pretty quiet, but we'll get into that here a little bit. Over here at the KP, let me go ahead and open it up a little further now. You see, we were way down here. We had this really quiet time, like almost like a suppression event, and then all of a sudden we got a little spike here where we absorbed some. It got a little quiet, and now we've had another ramping up of solar material hitting the Earth and us absorbing it up at the auroras here. So we'll click open the auroras. They're pretty quiet and faint right now, which is good. So on this little chart back here, hopefully we will see a little drop after this. Okay, I would like to see as little as possible, on this, but we do have events that pop off. So here we go, going into our article here. The moderate to strong solar flare M67 was just detected off the AR 3615 nearest to the southeast limb. This bad boy right here that was old 3590 that we were talking about last night. The solar flare itself was impulsive and noteworthy. The CME is unlikely from this event. The active region continues to evolve, and additional solar flares above M1 level will be possible. Okay, we already saw that. There was the little absorption event on the D layer range, or on the D layer. Solar activity on Sunday has so far been quiet. That was from yesterday. Let's just open the tracker real quick. See, we're still tracking this event here around the 21st is what they're saying for this one right here that we already looked at last night. You can see it right there. Whitetail 7, breathe, sweetie. Okay, go curl up by the fireplace. Put this next to your head. Listen to my voice. It's just a regular report. Listen to the spiritual report. Okay, I will soothe you. Okay, just breathe for the moment. Anyways, back to this same old thing that we saw the other night. So let's just back on out of that and get on over here to the solar. Come on now. There we go. All right, so I want to come over here to this article now over at spaceweather.com. And here you can see this 3615. It's a very tightly packed, complex region. So let's go ahead and just get into this article. Northern spring begins today, and almost immediately a CME is expected to graze Earth. It was thrown into space on March 17th when a magnetic filament in the sun's southern hemisphere erupted. The CME's impact on March 20th could spark a display of equinox auroras, all right, by Russell McPherson. They sure love this guy, and they're really backing his ideas, really because of the activity on the sun around March and September when this activity happens, okay? Anyways, a potentially dangerous sunspot. The new sunspot 3615 is complicated. It looks more like a rash than a sunspot. This weird, like big old splotchy irritation type thing. It does look like a rash. It looks more like a rash than a sunspot with a dozen positive dark cores scattered randomly over a wide area. A magnetic map of the region shows why it is potentially dangerous. Okay, I showed you these things. We want them spread out. We don't like them really close to each other. There's a plus and a negative there. There's a plus and a negative here. Plus, negative, plus, negative, plus, negative. I mean, this thing is just so complex that it's bound to spit and sputter, okay? And when you see the video, you'll see down below here, we'll see a little more. Before that, while most sunspots are bipolar, like our society, with only two dominant cores, positive and negative, 3615 appears to have many magnetic poles crushed together. The close proximity of so many pluses and minuses with a single sunspot group could lead to magnetic reconnection and strong solar flares. Indeed, 3615 is crackling with flares. The strongest so far, the 6.7, it just cleared the limb, and now it's crackling, coming to life. It has this complexity. It popped off the 6.7 as it's rotating into our strike zone. And look how long that one lasted. We really don't, at this show, I really don't get the big close-ups to the sun like everybody else does. But, well, that doesn't do it justice right there. You could see a plasma conduit coming off of that. Let's go back to that. That almost does a better justice right there. So, whatever this connected to out here, bzzz, see that? Whatever it connected to, they don't want us seeing it. And I bet you it just draped whatever it was with plasma. It just draped right over it, painting something, probably. Also, something here. Take note how it blurs out the instrument for a second. You see the little glitch? That's actually, the camera getting hit with the energy that affects the satellite. So that was quite a strong hit. Boom, it affected the satellite. And this thing, you saw how complex it is. It's rotating around. It's on the southern side of the hemisphere. Here's the hemisphere of the sun. We are located in the southern part of the sun. We're not right on the ecliptic. We're a little south where this thing is positioned when it rotates around. Also, watch out for this region up here. It's brightening up and looking very complex, or has the potential for that very weird complexity. All right, so things are getting a little, the sun's crackling, okay, and popping and snapping. We got this crazy region rotating around into our strike zone here soon for the next week. Ultraviolet radiation from the flare ionized the top of Earth's atmosphere, causing shortwave radio blackouts over the western parts of the U.S. and the Pacific Ocean. Mariners had problems with their radios. Let's just see this map. Yeah, that's the D region map. All right, so we absorbed a pretty good strike right there. All right. Oh, you did? You just posted a video of the moon? Okay, I'll come check it out when we're done with the show, sweetie. Yeah, I always like kind of checking out my people's stuff. Sometimes I don't make the rounds all the time. I got 2 teenage boys that are turning into men, and it's like one of those busy transition times, if you know what I mean. Okay, the most important part I wanted to get to this is this lower part right here. AR 35 or 3615 is growing in spot count and complexity, so it could soon pose a threat for X-class solar flares as well. Okay, we already kind of knew that when we looked at the complexity of it, but it has to be said that this thing is growing in complexity and could pose a threat for X-class solar flares, all right? So I don't want to be like, the sky is falling. But watch out, this thing is probably going to turn our way and spit an X-class flare at us. Everybody pray. You know, prayers have so much power, if you want to. Okay, so big nasty sunspot rash. We got a big rash rotating around that we got to watch out for. It's crackling, snapping, and popping, and it's going to be spitting more energy our way over the next week. Unless it totally dies and disappears in the next little bit, we are probably going to get more energy from this. So get ready for a bumpy week. Let's go on over now to our Schumann. And you can see that we came out. It's been very weak right through here. Started to come back to life a little bit. Got weak right here. We had a good little grind. That thing is an intense all the way down through a bunch of frequencies. This stripe right here, it's not like one of our big pulses like this. This is just a bing. Almost like we got hit with a sonar blip or something like that underwater. But anyways, we have this stripe, and you see the weakening right around it. So something right there happened. And then a couple little small ones, and we're coming out of it kind of weak. All right, so we've had fluctuations over the last couple of days in our magnetic field strength. Up and down, strong, weak, weak, strong, back to this, back to that, up and down. So it's been like a roller coaster ride for the Schumann here, which is the magnetic field that protects us from the sun. It also affects your body, your moods, your soreness levels, your pain. Some of you understand how this works quite well because you're a self-witness to it. It correlates with your affliction. All right, let's move on. It was pretty good news there. Now, This is changed in complexity as well. Of course, I mean, it's just changing so rapidly, but let's just look at what we're doing at this moment. Here we have our main vortex. It is broadened but weakened in strength. Okay, our sub vortex over here is the one that's really powerful. All right, now usually our fire hose is these two, right, where the intensity comes out there, but now it's shifted. This is no longer like the fire hose output, it just splits. All right, we have a new fire hose output coming out this way now. We have another vortex down below here. All right, you see, let me get it a little bit further out. Let the wind, 1, 2, 3. Those 3 vortexes going on right there, and they're influencing each other. This one rotates this way, this one rotates that way. They come together. This one rotates around, that one rotates around. They come together. So you got like, this would be a fire hose spigot, but it just kind of wraps around, where here our intensity is now where? Off the coast of America, out here in the Atlantic. And our other polar vortex is off the coast of Florida, down here, well, out off of Cuba. And then watch closely, because do you see this down here? I want to be really careful about this, okay? Because now we're talking the southern hemisphere. You see our blue boundary here, but it's crossing over. This is almost a 4th vortex, you guys. I mean, if we go in, look, whoops, put it back in the middle there. You can see these are all connecting all the way around. All right, I'm very tempted to call that another vortex, and you can see why. But we're going to hold off for a second. I'll let you guys be the judge of this, all right? Now, as we back out, I'm going to line all 4 of them up. And that's just right there. Let's come over to this side of the planet, shall we? We have another vortex spinning right here. This one you can obviously see. And we have another fire hose-like effect coming out over here now. And look how when it spits out, it curves and comes back. So it's basically becoming part of this vortex. It goes out, wraps around a little bit, and if we just get it right here, let those wind. So look how all these hook up and connect. This one going around, it comes up, it goes back up into this one, comes off, goes around this one, comes back. This is like the craziest roller coaster ride right here. It looks like a roller coaster track with, banked corners and swoops and hills and spirals and loops. If we could squeeze it all in like one frame, you could try to follow it all the way around the world. Do a lap up here, come off, do a lap around there, peel off, do a lap around here, come down, come back up, do a lap around there. It's like a like a road course for racing or something. Anyways, so with all these vortexes going on now, we already kind of looked at this side, and you see how it's taking air, wrapping it back around, cold air from like Canada, Hudson Bay area coming down here to the eastern half of the country, wrapping around and peeling back away. This stuff is kind of cleared up here to the Pacific Northwest, still a little bit draping down, but it just circles back around, and this flow up here is fighting the pattern, the weather pattern, while down here it's sucking in the weather pattern. Okay, so that's your your dynamics or your setup right there. We also have this one, when it rotates this warm, moist air off of the equator up into cold air coming back down. You see this area right here. Thank God it is right where it is and not back just a little bit. It's off the coast, so kind of some good news there. We're still going to see residual effects because of this area back here, this flow. Now we're going to start dropping down through the layers here. This complex, 4, 5-way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-way vortex setup is changing up our weather patterns and stuff. Also, let's take a little look down at the southern pole. You see its vortex is coming together. It's getting more organized. That'd be a 7th vortex down here, right? Okay, so let's get situated here over America, and then we'll start going down through the levels. So there's your polar. Here's your transition layer. You see how it correlates? How this pushing that way causes this ridge, but this pulling in is affecting that effect. All right, so you see how it all correlates here, and the effect we're getting red in the transition area. I've never seen that before. Anyways, let's go down to the upper jet stream here. Oh, what in tarnation? What in tarnation's going on here? All right, you see this southern fetch here going across the the Pacific, Mexico, Gulf, right up the East Coast. Thankfully, that flow right there isn't shifted back a degree or two, because it would be wiping things out. So it's a little off the shore right now. You see this circulation over the Pacific Northwest there. Now let me zoom back out. Sorry. So that's your upper jet stream, which affects your lower jet streams. This style, they correlate pretty closely. Okay, and that's what your storms are riding on, this lower jet stream. And now we'll get down to our storms. And you can see we have this giant storm off the coast here that's been sucking in cold air. It's whipping all the way around. That's why we saw the upper polar vortex, and what it's doing here, it's actually controlling this storm as well. Now, when we see this effect of the polar vortex way up high affecting weather down at the surface like this, it seems to be more of an outside influence on the weather than a natural weather phenomenon. Okay, we got this huge front right here coming through, this circulation, this storm right here, and another one big back here, well organized. Oh, goodness, is this thing making weird faces at us again? Good. Anyways, you can see how it's affected our weather, our storms. We got this clear little ridge right here for now. And if we go back up just a tad bit to our lower jet, you'll see that this storm that was out here might get carried up and over. All right, we'll see what happens. Any shift up at the polar vortex now is just going to ruin all this in a heartbeat. It will change all that in a heartbeat now, because we have so many, like this one up here is very wide and broad. It's not powerful, but that's our main vortex. It's way up here, kind of offset from the North Pole. And it's usually, like I said, these two where they come together here in the middle is where our main source of energy is. But it's this energy, I wouldn't count it because it's wraparound energy. It's the reason why these winds are moving so fast up here is because they're whipping around. They're not part of the fire hose effect. You see that fire hose effect right here. And it's just hosing down Europe. We got this vortex over here. Look at this. What the? It looks like a carnival scene or some kind of weird ride. And that's the polar vortex. Look, we're clear up here at the top. All right. Bore you to death with this. This is just so. We are in transition, but this is just so out of character. I've never seen anything like this before. I'm sure the meteorologists, the real serious ones who have better instruments than we do, are probably scratching their heads right now, going, "What the hell is going on?" All right, let's get over to some other stuff here now. We need to get to our sandstorms. I bet you they're kicking up really good right now. Let's find out. I am trying to get the particulates. There we are. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it grew in strength overnight. You see these wind patterns taking it out. See it circulating around and picking up all this sand and bringing it out to the Atlantic here. This circulation has stopped it like a wall, so it's not spewing all the way out. There is a small flow coming off and going into South America, though. Another huge sandstorm forming in Africa. And we're talking about this last night. These objects, when they pass, their static charge can charge some of the sand, which is silicon. It can hold an electric charge, make it static, and the static charge will make it lighter and lift it into the air, much like confetti in a little tiny plastic box. You can rub the plastic and it'll make the confetti down below dance. Same kind of effect here. And all it takes is a little bit of lightness to it, and the wind catches it, and you got sandstorms. And now you see we have more than sandstorms. The weather is actually picking this sand up and taking it way up here into Siberia. Look at that. What a trip. All right, and then we got this sandstorm here in the Gobi Desert, all right, that's just burying China. They're getting buried with their own sand. Saudi Arabia still got a pretty good one going on there. So when we pull back, this one actually seems to have blended into this. That's just like one big thing, kind of. We had this region up here, seems to have settled down and just kind of diffused out. We had intensity, white pocket here, but it's not so intense and white. It looks like it's just been spread out. So, something wrong with the earth. Something is wrong. We're having huge, long duration sandstorms in the northern hemisphere for most of the winter. This started back in November 22nd, 23rd, around there. So, yeah, that's that's before winter. December 21st is the first day of winter. So, we've had sandstorms all winter long in the northern hemisphere. Nothing to see here, though. Hey, nothing going on. Don't look at that. Look over here instead at the SO2. And let me take the wind off. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Did I just see that? Hey. This is the CO2 map that I was just trying to reach the other night that was down. Okay. Oh, yay. We get to do this one real quick. Let's just do it while we're here. I know. Boring. Okay. Notice the chart. Blue being the more intense, brown being less CO2. Lots of CO2, less CO2. CO2 being plant food. There's less of it here because all the plants are eating it. Okay. All these jungle type places where there's lots of foliage, there's less CO2 in those areas because the plants are eating it. Okay. Come over here, these areas. This island sometimes is just totally brown. Maybe there's a little bit blowing around right now, but all these areas got dense jungle and they eat up a lot of CO2. All right. The blue areas are the areas that produce the CO2. Areas like, well, for instance, and you can see that this isn't the wind carrying this around now. There's your producers of the supposed greenhouse gas, right? Supposed greenhouse gas. Would these guys not take science or pay attention in school? Back smoking dope or something? Because CO2 produces plant food. It's plant food. The plants need it. Even though I'm pointing out who's producing it, it's not all that bad. CO2 feeds the plants. You know what happens when the plants, they produce oxygen that we breathe. All this gas eventually turns into air that we breathe. So you can't just cut down on CO2 unless you want to choke to death. Anyways, when these people trying to tell you, oh, you guys need to pay taxes for all the CO2 you produce. Okay, let's make sure we tax the right people, okay? And I want refund checks for all of these people in this country right here who did the right thing and put filters on their devices and stuff, unlike these countries who don't care about their emissions. So if there's going to be a tax, let it be on those people, huh? Okay, I'm going to continue to shine a light on this too, because this is pathetically, moronically their argument. And I'm sorry, but they need to be corrected when they're wrong, okay? And you get the whole world believing this lie and repeating it over and over, just like the Nazis taught us. Yeah, if you keep repeating the same lie over and over and over and over again, it'll become the truth. People will believe it. Well, I'm here to stop that and correct that lie and let you know that CO2 is plant food. It's what the plants eat. Okay, it gets down here and these guys gobble it up, and all of this produces oxygen that we breathe. And if that ecosystem gets disrupted right there, we don't breathe anymore. So tell your global warming idiots that stuff. And tell them it's their fault, not ours. Because they didn't study or they didn't pay attention in class. Now, over to the SO2. Sorry, I had to do it while it was there. Okay, back to our, country divided here. Let's get it. One side still bleeding out, the other side, still patchy. All right, a little darkening there, color. We have had that increase in pressure for a while here now. We've seen Reykjanes go off. We got other new volcanoes that have gone off on the list tonight, as well as spreading of pressure up into this region up in here. It lessened a little bit, but it's still up in that region. All right, China's still experiencing pressure down below. Let's come on down to Java. I'll put the wind on there. Amazing how the wind's always kind of blowing down the island. This time it's kind of crossing over it, okay? So when we're looking at this density of purple, it's not because the winds are blowing it down the island. See, the winds are going over it. So when I remove those winds, You will see the plume offshore, and it's dark. So this back that whole darkness back down to the island here, it has darkened in just a tad bit. Okay, that pressure is still there. And they're gonna feel the effect right there. They're already seeing forest fires. So, okay, a little spotty action down in here still. You like to use this fulcrum point over here, this spot, as a gauge as well, as far as pressure change. Let's go into it. It's still a fairly decent dark purple. Ooh, almost black right in the center. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Also, a good judge of this thing is the dominance of it around the other spots. Because you got a big pinhole. Imagine you had a bigger pin. Well, it's a bigger pinhole in a balloon, right? And you're squeezing this balloon and the air's coming out as fast as it can through all the different holes, right? But you got one hole that's bigger. So when you squeeze on it more comes out the bigger hole. So that's why we use this spot as a gauge for our pressure. Plus, it's a beautiful spot. It's right on the fulcrum point. So it's like a perfect little gauge because I've seen it get lighter and I've seen it be bigger in size and black as well. So we're like 7.5, 8 or 7 maybe. 7 to 7.5, I guess, on our little scale. You guys could make a little judgment there too. See how dark and consistent it is along this ribbon here. That's another little telltale sign. If it's really patchy and there's just splotchy, but look how consistent, solid purple. Okay. See how much of this gas blowing out to sea here? Watch. Oh, wait. We got different wind patterns here. All right. It's recycling this way, so it's bringing some of it up, but that was the reason for this this little plume right here. Now it's lifting it up and bringing it back offshore. And we have other regions over here. This place fills in a little bit sometimes as well. Look at Haiti. Not Haiti, Jamaica here. It's always got a really dark patch right there, but that's probably because of all the smoking that's going on there. Cuba is another island that's spewing a lot of this gas. Okay, and before it was a few dots, and everybody kind of went, "Oh my gosh!" And then it stopped, and everybody forgot about it, and now it's back, but way beyond 4 little dots. Now it's to a level that we don't dare talk about it. Don't even dare talk about that because that would, scare everybody. Anyways, we gonna go on now. We got the SO2, we got the CO2, we did the sand. We're all done here. Let's get on over to the earthquake report. I take a big deep breath while we're doing this. Oh, excuse me. It's been a long 2 weeks. Really? Please, Lord, can we have this USGS, BS, DS? It's coming. It's trying. They're reloading the BS. Hang on. Really? That long for the page that I already had open? Can we get some cooperation? A little spinny? All right, well, that's nice. Oh, there it goes. First, we'll do that. We have the volcano report instead. Cool. There we go. All right, let's get into our deep quake region and start our report. No real deep quake for the day in this region right here. We come down to this. This is a, please open this. Here's a 5.5, so a mid-range 5 at 9.2. That's surface quake right there, right along the plate boundary. So we have mid-range 5 energy at the surface. Then real quiet through this region again. Coming over here, though, we have this one, which is a 4.9 down at 62. What do we do with those 9s here, especially at that depth? So we got a 5 and another 5. So a couple of little 5s right here. All right. Up here, 4.6 down at 12, mid-range 4 right there. Here's a 5.3 at the surface, right on the plate boundary. More energy being relieved. All right. 4.4 down at 131. 4.6 down at 41. And a 4.7 down at 50. So look at this little dispersion of energy here at the surface. 5 here, a couple of 5s there, another 5 here, some mid-range 4s. 4.7 was one of them. Yeah, so that's on the higher end. Okay, so some energy came up and got relieved at the pressure. Pressure got relieved at the surface right there. Bah. Nothing around this area. We got volcanic activity in this area relieving pressure, remember? Off of the fulcrum point. This, all right, please, Lord, I didn't mean to zoom so fast. This is our fulcrum point right here, coming up right there. There's multiple ones. There's little smaller ones incorporated into the bigger shape altogether. But you can see by the mountain ranges, by the topography, the perfect arrow pointing up, boink, right there. And if we don't get these wavy lines taken care of, it's just going to bug me. All right. So, over here, look at this fulcrum point right here. See how it's kind of bent and shaped, pointed up this way. So here's a fulcrum point right here, a sub-fulcrum off of a main one, right? See it? There's some other little sub ones here too, off of the main arrow shape. Okay, so there's a little sub-fulcrum point right here. And off of that, this is not a fulcrum point quake. It would be right up here or something. But off to the side of it, where all these pressure waves come together, you see the curvature in them, how this plate came down and bent in. And now we've got this ridge of mountains that go up right along here. And on the foothill of those mountains, out here in the sand, is a 5.5 here in Pakistan. This is a diverse quake. Okay? For all the reasons I just pointed out. It's a little out of the norm, we'll say. That's what makes it diverse. It's not your usual activity that we're used to seeing. Okay? Even here, we have a 4.3 at the surface here in Iran. Down, yeah. Ooh, what's going on here? Okay, just making sure. Last time we had a quake out in this region, I zoomed in on a nuclear facility out there in the desert. I was like, whoa! I did not know that was there. So let's get over here to boundary quake 4.0 down at 43 here in Greece. This area coming alive a little bit with activity as well. A lot of the energy for the Mid-Atlantic Ridge is all being dispersed here at Reykjanes, right? You've seen that wall, that curtain of lava. That's a lot of pressure coming out of the ground. When you look at how high those little curtains are shooting, it's a lot of pressure. Let's finish off with this. Another little diverse quake here. This is a 4.4 here in Tanzania. And I'm looking for like a volcano or something around it, to give us an excuse for this activity here. So I got a reason for saying, oh, it's this activity because of volcano or fault line. But as we kind of zoom in on topography here, let me just take this out of the way now. This is just out there in the jungle. I mean, we got some ridges and some mountains, and looks like a river maybe that's cut this land right through here. But kind of a diverse quake. I would like to, I'll let you guys be the judge of that as well. Okay. But for me, that's kind of a diverse quake. So is this one. You guys see this show all the time. You know all the points that we point out. Those aren't our normal points we point out. Moving on. Okay, here we go. We're already into the 19th, so here's a big old report on Rekehanus. We got some lava flows that are going in two different directions. We got ones that are going down to town and ones that are going to the ocean. So, complex thing that has evolved out of Rekehanus here. Big old report on it over here. I don't really want to go too much into that, other than the fact that it is a new volcano, new activity. Okay, the pressure down below that we talk about a lot. I always point out ones that are potential that could go online, and what I mean by going online is becoming fully active. So here we go. We were talking about Rekehanus. It went fully online. It's now fully active. All right. Ebu over here, 10,000 feet. That's a big blast. That's a lot of pressure. Okay. Sorry, look at something here. So, Ebu, 10,000 feet. Semeru, on the island of Java, 14,000 feet. That's a tall blast out of Semeru on Java. That's that pressure, our little relief valve there. Just across the way on Sumatra is Marapi, and it had a 14,000 foot blast as well. Dukono had a 9,000 foot blast. Now, look at this. Rapaheu? Raupiu? Raupeo? Have to ask the localers there how they pronounce it. Anyways, Rapihu? Raupihu? How about that? Raupihu is now active. It's a new one on the list and one we haven't heard of, all right? In the mid-October of 2023, the temperature of the crater lake began to rise. Subsequently, the temperature started to decline, signaling a conclusion of the heating episode. Throughout the heating episode, the seismic station detected typical sequence of small quakes clustered under volcano at depth. The seismic activity has persisted even as the lake cools, volcanic tremor, and crucial indicator of volcanic fluid movement. Moderate levels of what? SO2? That's the same stuff we report on. Moderate levels of SO2 gas emissions have been measured from the lake as it warmed. Big old article on this. Long-term temperature trend of the lake illustrates that the recent heating episode falls within the range of temperatures recorded over the past 5 years. So where is the eruption part? However, the monitoring parameters such as volcano tremors, heat flow, gas emissions, and lake surface behavior are all consistent with a typical pattern of heating-cooling episodes. Well, we'll watch it closely. A new name on the list here, so we'll have to watch it closely. Back to business. Fuego, 15,000 feet. Sangay, 23,000 feet. Revenador, 16,000 feet. Sabancaya, so high it was unable to detect. Now let's go into March 18th. Okay, back to Recahenus here again today. All the activity that went on, all kinds of different lava flows. Now, Sakurajima, no flight level, exploded at 23,000. No. Ibu had 1 to 12,000. Marapi, 14,000. I'm looking for Merapi too, because that's on the island of Java as well. So 14 out of Marapi, 9,000 out of Dacono, 19 out of Popocatépetl, Santa Guido, 14,000, Fuego, 15,000, Nevada del Ruiz, the one that's always on the semi-active list, 21,000 feet. Does 21,000 feet sound semi-active? I didn't think so. 21,000 feet out of Nevada del Ruiz. Revenador had a PDF? Wow, Revenador had a PDF, huh? Revenador, 15,000 feet. Sabancaya, still so high they can't detect it now. All this list right here, currently active ones that could go active. Let's just go down the currently erupting ones. Don't forget about Bizamani on the Kamchatka Peninsula, Dukono, Ebico, Erebus in Antarctica. All right, it's still going off. We have a volcano in Antarctica that is melting the ice down there. Erta Ale in Ethiopia. Here's Fernandino in the Galapagos Islands, Fuego in Guatemala, Ibu in Indonesia, Krakatau. I can't stress this one enough. Krakatau is the one that changed the world for years. All right, it's the son of Krakatoa. So this one we got to watch. Luatolo currently, Marapi in Sumatra, Masaya in Nicaragua. Now here, Merapi, Central Java. This is the one I wanted to read real quick. See if we got any. All right, look, 4 out of 5 currently erupting. Reported that an eruption at Merapi on Java continued 1 through March 1st through the 7th. Merapi volcano. All right, so maybe it has kind of calmed down because it had its little flurry from the 1st to the 7th. All right, but its status is still erupting. Michael, South Sandwich Island, Nyiragongo, Popocatépetl, Reventador, Sabancaya, Sakurajima, Sangay, Santa Guido, Semeru, Chivaluche, Stromboli in Italy, sorry. Don't forget about Stromboli. It has those Strombolian explosions. Suwanosejima, look at this. Tinakula, new one. Villarica, Yasur. So we have another new one. All these could possibly jump over there. Uluwan, Ubinus, Rincon de Vieja. What the? Are you? Okay, are you guys witnessing this with me? Take it off of here and put it over there. Already happened. Nevada del Ruiz. Remember we said 19,000 or something? Take it off of this list, put it over there. Mayon, Manam, Kilauea, Great Sikin Island, Gamalama. Everybody say it. Gamalama. Etna and Sicily. Watch out for that one. Cotopaxi as well. All right, that's it for that. Let's get on over here to our weather forecast thingy here. Gotta clear out some of these other instruments. And play the little movie. There we go. Let that play for a minute. Now you can see how dates, times, the progression of the dot, and our changes. Everything keeps changing, so it seems our window of forecasting is getting shorter and shorter. For a while, we could go out these, 16 days or something like that, it goes, with pretty decent accuracy. Now it's pretty much we're stuck with the 3 days, and we're lucky if that even comes true. So let me just catch that now and back it up before we get further down the track. If you catch a train going the wrong direction, get off at the first stop, because for less distance you got to go back. Okay, here we are. Current conditions. March 28th, nighttime. Morning of the 19th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 20th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. That's about as far as I trust this instrument. So, on to the spiritual report. No, I'm just joking. Morning of the 22nd. Here we might see some pop-ups coming off the Gulf here into Florida. You see severe weather maybe in Mississippi there. Nighttime of the 22nd. Morning of the 23rd. Wow. That was noontime the 22nd. Convection the 22nd. Nighttime the 22nd. Now the morning of the 23rd. Severe weather still kind of wrapping back around and starting to creep up the coast here again. So that's still a little ways out there, but it's still kind of following the similar pattern that we had seen throughout the course of the last few days. So as we get to the noontime of the 23rd, we're going to have severe weather up here in like New York City, all through Philadelphia, New York, Washington, all the way up through there. And that'll be the noontime of the 23rd. There is convection right there. That'll be probably pretty brutal and nasty right there. That'll be the nighttime of the 23rd. Most of it's cleared the coast now, just a small patch up by Maine. And then it's all cleared by the 24th. That'll be the noontime, convection, nighttime, morning of the 25th. Noon, convection, nighttime. Ooh, the nighttime of the 25th, possibly into the morning hours. That would not be good. Forming a QLCS, quasi-linear storm front here. Oh. Okay, so from the nighttime convection, nocturnal tornadoes, even nocturnal in the morning hours here around the 26th. Let's pray to God this all changes, and it changes for the better and not for the worse. I mean, that's pretty bad. It could be worse, but you're looking at from the nighttime of the 25th all the way through the morning hours of the 26th into the noontime, convection again. You see the tail fire up, and then severe snowstorm on the backside. Thunder snow. That'll be the convection right there going into the nighttime of the 26th, morning of the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 30th. All right, the rest of that is just too far out in advance there. Look at that coming around April 1st. Hey, April Fools, your entire state's missing. Look at this QLCS forming here. I pray that doesn't happen either. Another one firing up back there. All right, that's just so out in the future. We can't really, don't even look at it. Let's look at these first little, we've got a few days of clearing here. Our next little event will be around the 22nd right there. Okay, so Hopefully it stays this way. We got a few days of clear weather here for the entire country. But then after that, everybody get ready to hunker down again because spring is not summer. It's still transition season, and it's the volatile transition season from winter, out of winter into spring. So we can still get storms, winter-like storms with deep, high amounts of precipitation added to it. So, but for the next couple of days here, looking pretty good. A little bit of scattering here on the nighttime of the 20th, but nothing severe till maybe right around there, the convection of the 21st. Now that's all subject to change too, but that's our near future, and that's all I'm going to stick with for right now because so much is changing and so quickly that the deeper we get into it, it's more like a waste of time too. So, all right, now let's get back to this right here. Some very interesting things going on here. Yeah, very interesting things going on here. And for a while, been seeing the same face in the clouds, my face in the clouds. It's like, what is going on? Am I going crazy? Am I seeing things? Is this pareidolia? What? But it's not. And we have a different case going on here. And let me start doing some reading here. What else are we going to do first, Lord? We're going to do something else first, I thought. Oh, yeah. You know what? While we're doing this, everybody take a deep breath. I need to take a few deep breaths. I've been full bore all day long, and let's just pull up a different image as well. That can be, oh yeah, World of Signs. Go over to that channel. Give them a big old thumbs up. Let's see, can we just steal my channel off of there? There we go. Pull up a couple of different images for you guys. Some peaceful images to look at. Reassure you. So you can have some peace and joy that transcends everything, and then you get to spread it on to your loved ones and friends and family members too. So we got that image pulled up. We got this one pulled up. What's another one more? What else do you want pulled up? Oh. I want this one as well. With the heart. Where'd it go? Oh, passed it somewhere. Right around here somewhere. There it is. And we can just pause that right. Well, get the pointer out of the way. All right, here we go. We got a few images to read to there. All right. So, real event. After all these faces, all these different characters showing up in the clouds, following me, watching me, studying me everywhere I go, all of a sudden, this happens. And I capture Jesus pulling open his shirt and making my face in the clouds. And I'm like, what is going on here? And the closer I look, there's a crown and stuff. And I'm like, why is it showing my face with the crown? It's getting weird. And it's not about ego. I'm not oh, help me, Lord. All right, we're just going to start reading. Let's get the book light so you can see. All right, see that heart right there? That's a good man. He loves you unconditionally. Even though he sees all your faults and stuff, he still loves you. Amazing how it works. Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot about this one. All right, you guys will like this one. Brian, you say you're reflecting Christ consciousness. Kind of. Yeah, you could say that. That part of that is true, Brian. He's saying you're reflecting Christ consciousness. That part is true. And there's more. All right, so let me see here. Actually, I want the right image for this. So let's start off back here. All right, with this one out by the moon. All right. Seek my face more and more. You are really just beginning your journey of intimacy with me. It is not an easy road, but it is a delightful and privileged way, a treasure hunt. I am the treasure, and the glory of my presence glistens and shimmers along the way. Hardships are part of the journey too. I deviate them out very carefully, in just the right dosage, with a tenderness you can hardly imagine. So don't recoil from afflictions, since they are among my most favored gifts. Trust me and don't be afraid, for I am your strength and song. Okay. It is not an easy road, but it is a delightful and privileged way to live. It's a treasure hunt. I am the treasure, and the glory of my presence glistens and shimmers along the way. So look for the little treasures along the way. All right. Hardships are some of these treasures. It doesn't sound like it makes sense, but hardships are these treasures. They're part of your journey. I give them out ever so carefully in just the right dosage, with a tenderness that you can hardly imagine. You can't see the tenderness in the hardships. You can't imagine it. But I give them out ever so carefully in just the right dosage, with tenderness. Okay? So don't recoil from your afflictions, since they are from me, and they're some of my gifts. So trust me and don't be afraid, for I am your strength and song. If it weren't for afflictions that you overcome, how are you supposed to get strong? How are you supposed to build strength if you don't have something to lift, work out with, afflictions to overcome? That's how you build strength, by overcoming these afflictions, okay? And I give them out in a dosage that's just right, with some tenderness that you can't see, okay? So don't recoil from them, because they're from me. Trust me and don't be afraid. I am giving you strength and song, okay? Here. Let's change that to this one. Boom. No. Go back to that. Get out of the wavy lines. All right. Turn your head to the right. There's his face and the crown. Oh, good. We don't have to describe it. We got the right crown right there. I thought so. Okay. Now, back to reading. Trust me enough to spend ample time with me. Take a deep breath and trust me enough to spend ample time with me, pushing back the demands of the day. refuse to feel guilty about something that is so pleasing to me, I am able to bend time and events in your favor. You will find that you can accomplish more in less time after you've given yourself to me in rich communication. Also, as you align yourself with my perspective, you can sort out what is important and what is not. So don't fall into the trap of being constantly on the go. Many, many things people do in my name have no value in my kingdom. To avoid doing meaningless works, stay in continual communication with me. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Okay. Check out Lighthouse 7. You upload another face right next to the moon. Oh, goody, goody, goody. I will find out. I'll go check out Whitetail 7 here when we're done. I got more, though, so curl up, get comfortable. Oh, now that one goes right to this one now. Okay, Lord, I'm trying to get this right. You want this image to this message to this one to that one. Oh, gosh. If you don't listen close enough, you miss it all. So, come on, Lord, pull it up, please. There it is. All right, now that image to this right here. My peace is like a shaft of golden light shining on you continuously. During days of bright sunshine, it may blend in with your surroundings. On darker days, my peace stands out in sharp contrast to your circumstances. See times of darkness as opportunities for my light to shine in transcendent splendor. I am training you to practice peace that overpowers darkness. So collaborate with me in this training and do not grow weary or lose heart. Okay. That one to this one too? Yeah. Okay. So here's another one. I am ever so near you, hovering over your shoulder. Just like this image. I am ever so near you, hovering over your shoulder. Reading every thought. People think that thoughts are fleeting and worthless, but yours are precious to me. I smile when you think lovingly of me. My spirit, who lives within you, helps you think my thoughts. As your thinking goes, so goes your entire being. So let me be your positive focus. When you look to me, knowing me as God within you, you experience joy. This is according to my ancient design when I first crafted man. Modern man seeks his positive focus elsewhere, in sports, sensations, acquiring new possessions. Advertising capitalizes on the longing of people for a positive. Advertising capitalizes on the longing of people for a positive focus in their lives. I planted that longing in human souls, knowing that I could fully satisfy it. So delight yourself in me and let me become the desire of your heart. Okay, now that stack. Okay, is that the one? Oh, okay. Now, right there. Now back to this one. All right, so It's out by the moon. It's not in the clouds. As you come to know me more intimately, you grow increasingly aware of your sins. This presents you with a choice: to focus on your flaws and failures, or to rejoice in my glorious gift of salvation. When you keep your focus on my sacrifice for your sins, you live in the joyful awareness that you are wonderfully loved. There is no greater love than mine, and it is yours forever. The best response to such a fathomless gift is to love me with all your heart. Tragically, many people think they have little or even nothing for me to forgive. Let me take a sip of water here or anything, because this is important that people could grasp this concept here. So, many people think that I have little or even nothing, that they have little or nothing for me to forgive. They've been deceived by the prevailing lie that there is no absolute truth. They believe good and evil are relative terms, so they see no need for a savior. Did you hear what I said? Can you see it all over the place? They believe good and evil are relative terms. They see no need for a savior. These deluded ones do not seek my forgiveness, and their sins remain unpardoned. The evil one's deceptions have darkened their minds, but I am the light of the world, and my light can shine through you into their lives. Because you are my follower, you never walk in darkness. You have the light of life. Don't you? God, yeah. If you walk in this light, living close to me, my blood continually cleanses you from all sin. Continually cleanses you from all sin. So when you become aware of sins, I want you to confess them and seek my help in making needed changes. Again, when you become aware of your sins, I want you to confess them and seek my help in making these needed changes. Nonetheless, your status with me is not based on confessing your sins quickly enough or thoroughly enough. The only thing that keeps you right with me is my perfect righteousness, which I give to you freely and permanently when you joined my eternal family. So how awesome is that? The only thing that keeps you right with me is my righteousness, which I give to you freely and permanently when you joined my eternal family. Since now you are mine, gloriously attired in a robe of righteousness, I invite you to come confidently into my bright presence. Walking in the light of my presence blesses you in many ways. Good things are better and bad things are more bearable when you share them with me. As you delight in my love light, you can love other believers more fully and have real fellowship with them. You are less likely to stumble or fall because sins are glaringly obvious in my holy light. So rejoice in my name all day long, enjoying my presence and exulting in my righteousness, which I give back to you freely. How cool is that? I mean, what the best gift? You guys are the best family. You know, I'm just telling you, you guys are awesome. Yeah. I invite you to come confidently into my bright presence. Walking in the light of my presence blesses you, doesn't it? Haven't you guys felt the blessing now that you understand and that you know when you're walking around? Don't you feel the light of my presence blessing you where you go? Good things are better and bad things are more bearable. That's what this is about. Good things are better, bad things are more bearable when you look at them from that perspective. I am the light from on high that dawns upon you to give light to those who sit in darkness. Just like the moon, it gives light to people who are sitting in the dark, right? The moon. I am the light from on high that dawns upon you. Out by the moon, I'm the light on high that dawns upon you to give light to those who sit in darkness. Sometimes your circumstances are so difficult and confusing that you feel as if you're surrounded by darkness. Your mind offers up various solutions to your problems, but you've already tried them without success. So you fret and you wonder what to do next. Feeling helpless and frustrated? Yeah, I bet. At times like this, you need to look up and see my light shining down upon you. Gaze at me in childlike trust, resting in my presence, right here, right now, resting in my presence. Hear my voice? Good. Gaze at me in childlike trust, resting in my presence. Let go of problem-solving efforts for a while. Cease striving and know that I am God. As you relax in my presence, remember that I am the Prince of Peace. The more of me you absorb, the more peaceful you will be. Breathe me in with each breath. After resting with me for a while, tell me about your troubles, trusting me to help you with them. Trusting me to help you with them. Stay close to me, my child, and I will guide your feet into the way of peace. And one last one, closing with this one, okay? Oh, please, Lord, give me strength. Let me take one last sip here. You guys doing good. Hanging in there. All of a sudden, it's not such a chore anymore. It's more joyful and peaceful while you're relaxing with me. Now, this is the awesome part, okay? Everybody get all cozy. I want you to rejoice that your name is written in heaven in the book of life, because you are mine. You have joy that is independent of circumstances. If you have joy that is independent of circumstances, you're in the book of life because you are mine. You have received eternal life that will never be taken away from you. Those who are justified through faith in me as their risen Savior are also glorified. So those who are justified are also glorified through their faith in me as their risen Savior. There is a very real sense in which you are already seated with me in heavenly realms. Right now, right here, right now. There is a very real sense in which you are already seated with me in the heavenly realms. Do you get it? The heavenly realms are right here, right now. You're seated with me in them right here, right now. This is a very real sense in which you all are already seated with me in the heavenly realms. Joy is the birthright of all who belong to me. It can coexist with the most difficult, heart-wrenching circumstances. So come to me each time it happens with open hands and an open heart, saying, Jesus, I receive your joy. Then wait with me while the light of my presence shines upon you, soaking into the depths of your inner being. Thus, I strengthen you, preparing you for each day that stretches out before you. As you journey through each day, return to me for fresh joy as often as you need. I am a God of unlimited abundance, so I always have more than enough for you. Okay? As you journey through each day, return to me for fresh joy as often as you need. That's it for tonight. Okay, guys? A lot going on, and I got a lot still to do. Please bring that back. Thank you. And I miss you guys. I love you all. Hopefully you're enjoying these readings and learning a lot from them. And we're getting a lot of spiritual growth here, because we're gonna need it, you guys. And I see a bunch of spiritual warriors here. Thanks, Jimmy. Thank you, Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver, I got something for you. I hope you find time to check out. Yeah, I gotta go check out Whitetail 7's video. New upload of another face right next to me. Oh, boy. Yeah, I saw MBB had something, what looked like a set of eyes. The moon was one eye, and then the other one was a black eye with its eyebrow raised like I do, making fun of me. Yeah, I am reflecting something. Oh, thank you, Diana and Cindy and Hopinson, sorry. And we got Gabe. Dude, I am so good to see you coming back every night. You've got reason to come back here every night now, huh? You probably look forward to this show every night now, going, oh man, I can't wait to hear Brian. All right, thank you also thank you for the video of the Peaceful Valley earlier. Oh, good. Hopefully you guys can always go back to that too, and just pull it up whenever you need a moment of peace. You want to spend an hour in the spiritual realm and get away from the world for a while and have some peace. Pop that video on. Listen to the birds in the background. Look at the scenery for a minute and just escape this world for a second. And, remember, I'm sitting right next to you. Keep looking over to your right. Every time something bothers you, look over to your right. I'm sitting right next to you, right there with you. I know what you're feeling. I know what you're going through. I really want to help you, but you have to be open to me to help you. So the more open you are, the more power you have, the more blessings you get. It's very simple how it works. Don't make it too complex. It's called love. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. And I'm going to go because I can't wait to go over to Whitetail 7 and give her some love. And thank you all for being here. Bless you all. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Bye.